everybody, welcome to tonight's live class. If you can just let me know that you can hear me, I would appreciate. Okay, I can see some people coming in. So tonight we are going to be racing against ESCOM. So I might move a little bit fast. If I'm going too fast for you, please leave your questions in the comments, and if I don't get to them, one of the lovely admins will. So tonight we're going to be making one of these really cool explosion boxes. Oopsie, so there we are. It's got these cool balloons. And then you can see we have everything inside. And this is a ready-made Cricut project, which is super awesome. So I'm going to show you how to find it. I'm going to show you how to edit it. And then I'm also going to show you why it's important to look for these, especially if you are a beginner. So Sarah says that they have ESCOM coming for them in an hour. So do I. So that is why we are racing against ESCOM. So again, if I am moving too fast, please do let me know. I will let you know that this is quite a cut intensive project. So I have pre-cut most of the elements, but I will be cutting two pieces with you. I think I have noted everything in the write-up of what you will need. But just to show you, this is the one that caught me off guard. I needed 3 little pieces of like twine. So this is called baker's twine. That's what it's called. That's what I found it as. Okay, so let's jump into it. Okay, so we are going to be searching for a project because we will be using a ready-made Cricut project. And I absolutely love the ready-made Cricut projects because they have all of the details that you need. So we're going to look for an explosion box. Did I spell that right? I did not. Hello everybody that's just joining. We've already jumped in, but you haven't missed anything just yet. So as you can see, we have a lot of explosion boxes that pop up. And this is not an attack on anybody because I'm guilty of the exact same thing. But let's just click on this one and have a look. So this one, as you can see, it says to put together, follow directions in original project. So that is the instructions, and to be honest, I did the exact same thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on Cricut, and now you can see we have all of the Cricut projects popping up. If you click on any one of these, so let's just click on the pizza one so you can see that it tells you what the finished size is, it tells you exactly what materials you need, and then it gives you step-by-step instructions on how to actually assemble this. So if you are more of a visual learner, like you like to read things, you can always go and have a look at this project on Design Space and you can follow those instructions if that works for you. So we are going to be making this one. Okay, if you are not going to change anything, then you can just say make it. Obviously, I wanted to add some glitter in there, and I've used some pretty pattern paper for the top of the cupcake. So I thought that would be pretty cool. So to do that, we're going to say customize. Okay, so if you click on it, you can see that we've got everything together and it's very hard to change the individual elements. So what we're going to do is we're going to say ungroup. So remember, grouping is something that happens on your canvas and it is not going to affect when you say make it. So when you go to make the project, it's not going to do anything. It just keeps it together on the canvas. So now you can see that we have all of the different elements in our layers panel. And to change where it's going to cut, all I need to do, so to make a cut on a new mat, all I need to do is change the color. So I wanted my balloons to be in glitter. So I'm going to change those colors. And you can see I'm just dragging a box around them and I am changing them to a different shade. The next thing I wanted was my little flame to also be glitter. Now if you click on the flame, which I've clicked on there, you can see that under operations it says multiple and our color is blocked out. Now the reason for that is that we have a score line attached to it. So we go into our layers panel, we open it up by clicking the little arrow, and then we click only on the flame and not the score lines, and then we can change the color. I then wanted to do our bow in glitter as well. So we're going to select all of our parts for our bow, and we're going to make that the same color as our balloons. Now for these two parts, we again have to open it up because we don't want to mess with our score line. And there is another way that you can do this. When you say make it, you can actually manually move it around. I just find it easier to do it this way, because then I immediately know how many different colors I need. I just find it a lot easier to do it on my canvas. Okay, and then I thought it would be nice to do this in glitter as well. And then if we zoom in, so with this one, the original design has little sprinkles that are drawn onto it. I did that with the first one, so I will just show you that again. And Soraya says she's already lost some pieces. So little tip, what I usually do when I'm working on projects with a lot of pieces is I actually have plastic bowls, and then I put the different elements into plastic bowls, and that way you never lose them. So there's just a little tip. Okay, so I will just show you with our original one, the little drawn on sprinkles. For this one, I didn't want that. So there's two ways you can do this. You can either detach it, and you'll see all of the pieces come apart, and then you can delete your sprinkles and then reattach it. Very important. So remember, attaching takes two or more functions, and it makes it work together on the same mat. So we had a question in Soraya's class, I think it was last week, where somebody asked why they didn't weld. So remember, welding takes two elements and it makes it into one element, while attaching keeps them as separate elements, just in the same place. So that was a little tidbit. Okay, and then I think we are good to go. So you can obviously edit this however you want. And I am just going to point this out. If you are going to be making this project, these three little pieces, those are actually your cards that are going to slip into your little card slots, which are above here. So if you want to add writing to it, I would suggest, number one, having a smooth cardstock. So again, I will show you what happens when you work with a textured cardstock. So firstly, smooth cardstock, and then secondly, obviously add in all of your elements here, make sure it looks all pretty, and then attach it. So we have covered using your Cricut pens in class before, and the tip is always to duplicate your writing, align it, and then attach it. So I'm just going to show you that very quickly. So let's just say happy birthday. And we're going to want writing style. That's going to give us the single layer. Okay. So we would obviously make sure it's big enough or small enough. We're going to duplicate that. Select both, align, center horizontally, center vertically. Move both at the same time to where we want it to be. And then select all three and say attach. And then that's going to write it. So the reason we duplicate the writing is that sometimes your pen might miss a little section. It might like jump. That will help you not to have spaces in between your writing. You're going to get that nice, clean, crisp writing. So I do not need writing. Not at this current point anyway. Okay, so we are good to go. There's so much you can do with this. You can add writing onto the lid if you wanted to. You could have little drawn on things on your folders here. So I will again just show you, this is the front of the folder on this side. So you could have pictures drawn onto it, you could have foiling on it if you wanted to, debossing. The reason I'm telling you which is the front flap is because obviously you would only then need that on this section. Okay, so that is ready to go. Super simple. Honestly, you could have just said make it, but I've made this one and I wanted to push the boundaries a little bit. So I'm not going to save that because I have already saved it. We're going to save for any material. Okay, for this one, I did move this and I stuck it up there just to save some space. So this, I just want to show you, is our biggest element, and you can see that it takes up a whole mat, and that is why we did not resize the box. We didn't make it any bigger because the biggest element already takes up a whole mat. So there is a way you can work around this, but I think that would be more of a pro class, so we won't be doing that today. I'm just seeing in the comments everybody talking about losing their stuff. I can't remember who it was, but one of our members posted their beautiful card the other day, and they had actually got it stuck to their chair, and I thought that was hilarious because we've all had those moments. Okay, so we're going to get to cutting. Now, like I said, I've already cut most of them, but I did keep aside 2 pieces of cardstock to cut. And the reason I'll show you in a second the reason I kept them aside. I do just want to show you the different cut settings. Okay, so you can see that we already have our pieces laid out. This is what I'm going with for the top. I thought that was a really cool patterned cardstock, so we're going to be using that. And then I said I would show you, so I don't know if you're going to see it. I think it's quite difficult to see that. But there's actually little missed pieces, and that's not the machine. That is obviously the fact that it is a textured cardstock. It cannot get into the grooves. Okay, so I've kept aside 2 pieces. Now this is Cricut cardstock, and I love it. It is the same as an AC or a Couture Creations cardstock, so we've all used it. We all know the sort of feel of it. We know how easy it is to work with, and you can see it's quite thin. And then I have something called, I think it's Curious Metallics, and you can see this is a much sturdier cardstock. So we're going to be cutting those 2. All of the other cardstocks should cut exactly the same way, so you should be good with that. So we're just going to jump over to Design Space again. And for the first one, which is our blue, which is the same as our Couture Creations or our AC cardstock, we're going to be using the medium cardstock or the cardstock for intricate cut setting. So it's going to depend on your machine. Every machine is going to be different. So let me just show you one of the others. Okay, so this one says score and basic cut. If I choose cardstock for intricate cut, it's asking me to load the single scoring wheel. If I change this and I use craft board, it's asking me to load the double scoring wheel. So your single scoring wheel is for thinner cardstocks, and it's going to create a single score line. And then your double scoring wheel is for thicker cardstocks. It's going to create a double line, which is going to stop your cardstock from tearing when you fold it. So that is what I wanted to show you with the 2 different cardstocks. Okay, so we're going to be doing that one, cardstock for intricate cut setting. And for both of these, we're going to be using our light grip mask with our brayer. Very important. So does the brayer make a difference? It definitely does, and I think anybody that's used one will be able to tell you that. Okay, we're going to stick that under there. While that is cutting, we're going to start folding our different pieces. So you can see I started with this one. Okay, so we're just going to fold along all of our score lines. So this is our top piece. Okay, so we have folded it, and what you're going to do is you're going to take these flaps and you're going to stick them under. So around all sides you're going to stick them under. So I'm using Jewel Bond. So Claudia says that she has finally got her scoring wheel with the single and double scoring wheel, and it is a game changer, and I must agree. So remember, the biggest difference between your scoring stylus and your scoring wheels is that your scoring wheel is going to roll across your cardstock while your stylus is going to drag. So anytime there's dragging, you may or may not get tearing. It's not impossible to work with it. I just find it a lot easier and a lot more satisfying to work with the single or the double scoring wheel. Okay. So for this, we are going to be using the craft board setting because remember, it is a lot sturdier. And we're going to need our scoring wheel for that, or stylus if that's what you've got. So what I love about it is Design Space actually tells you exactly what you need. It has it next to the mat. So mine says score and then basic cut, and then it says load your scoring wheel and then load your mat and press the go button. Okay, so now we're going to stick this. And then what I like to do is I like to put my cardstock like that and then drag it. And that's going to kind of spread my glue around, get it on the edge, and I'm not going to get these clumpy bits where there's too much glue. And if it does come out, you just give it a quick rub. Okay, oopsie, I got some on top. Make sure you're at the edge, and then you can just turn it around and press it from the bottom side. And then you'll see that there's this little piece in the middle of two of them. You're going to glue that. Okay, now Design Space has said set up for the next step. And our next step is to cut, so I'm going to put my fine point blade back in. Okay, and then I'm going to fold that out, and I'm going to put some glue on that flap. Make sure it's nice and lined up, and then we're going to press it from the bottom. So that one slid out a bit. Okay, so you can see I put it down and then I drag it across. So what that's going to do is it's going to spread the glue out, and it's also going to get glue on the edge of the top piece for me, and that's going to help it just look a lot neater. Okay, that one's ready for us. So just drag it across, put that in. So you can see I'm just making sure it's nice and lined up on the edges. That's going to give me that clean edge. And then just turn it around And then we're going to glue our little flap. So you can see I did two different ways there of gluing the flap. You can choose which one works best for you. There we are. Make sure it's all lined up neatly. Yes, so I'm using the Cricut glitter cardstock here, and it is absolutely beautiful. It has such vivid colors. It is stunning. Okay. So as always, matte from material, not material from matte. Okay, so that's done. Let's close this up so we have some more space to work. Okay, so we're going to put that aside because we've done that, and then we're going to fold this. So this is the center of our card. We're going to just fold all of our flaps in like so. And I went with a thicker cardstock here for two reasons. Number one, I wanted it to be a little sturdy, and number two, it's pretty and sparkly and I love it. So I don't know if you can see that. It's got like a little shimmer to it. It's beautiful. Then this circle, so these are our balloons, we'll get to those. This circle is going to go right in the middle. Like so. I think for me the hardest part was actually just lining that up in the middle. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to move on to our little candle. So our candle has 4 score lines going across. We're going to fold that like so. And then at the bottom it has these little pointy pieces. Those are going to fold outwards. So those are going to fold towards the pattern side. Then we're going to have a look. You'll see that there's a little sort of envelope edge. We're going to put glue onto that. And we are going to glue that shut. So what I did find with this is obviously it is a little bit difficult to glue or to sort of press down. So I took a paintbrush, flipped it upside down like so, and I rubbed the paintbrush inside on the edge, and that's going to help it to adhere. Here we are. Okay, then you're going to put these sort of together, because they are going to go through here. Okay, then you flip it upside down, and these are going to fold outwards and glue there. So we want to put some glue on each one. Oopsie, that was a lot of glue. Just a little bit of glue. And then we're going to push these outwards like so. And we're just going to make sure that it sticks. Like so. Okay, and then the last piece of our candle is our little flame, and our flame has 2 little score lines here. So there's a little square piece, and we're going to fold next to that square piece. And then we're just going to take a little bit of glue and stick it on the tip, and that's going to keep our flames together like so. And that just slots in there like so, and then we have a super cute candle with a sparkly flame. I love it. Okay, now we're going to move on to our box for our center. So our first piece, this is going to be the bottom of our box, that we're just going to fold in the 4 sides like so. So this is actually an explosion box inside of it, inside of an explosion box. So that's going to go in the center, and then we're going to move on to our lid. We're going to fold the little edges down, fold this inwards. Okay, and we're going to do that for all sides. And again, if I am going too fast, you can always either watch back on the video, or you can leave your question in the comments and one of the admins will definitely get to it to assist you. And we're going to glue these little flaps on the side, so the little pieces that are folded in. And we're just going to make sure that's nice and flush on the edges. So Amy said she finally gets to watch a master make an explosion box. So I have an absolute disclaimer, and the reason I'm telling you this is because I feel like it is going to get a lot more people to actually do it. The first explosion box I ever made was the sample for this class, and then I had so much fun doing it that I made one for my daughter's teacher, which I've actually posted on the group. That was a different one. So this is my third explosion box ever, and it's been made in the space of a week. So it's definitely not difficult, and that's kind of why we wanted to do a class on it, so that we could show you it's really not difficult at all. Okay, so there we are. That is the lid of our box. That is our center of our box. So this is the present that's going to go in the middle. Okay. Now we're going to do our sides for our explosion box, or our little decorations, should we say. So we're going to use a blue piece, a pink piece, and a yellow piece. And we're going to layer them together, and that is going to give us our, so we're just going to make sure they're the right way, very important. That is going to give us our little layered, what are these called? Bunting. So what you want to do with these, and this is very important, you don't want to put glue onto the blue piece and then stick it onto the pink piece. You want to work from the top layer down, and the reason for that is your top layer has more holes than the layer below it. So if you put glue on the layer below it, it's probably going to peek through one of the holes. So very important. Okay, we're just going to line that up. So I'm lining it up using my fingers on all the edges. And then we're going to press it down. And then we're just going to do this now for all three of these. I think the blue piece is the easiest. And then we're going to put these onto alternating sides, or yeah, alternating sides of our what do you call this thing, explosion box. And we're just going to make sure we kind of centered that. Okay, so I'm going to put one here, one here, one here. So we're going to put one, leave a space, put one, leave a space. And always before you apply the glue, make sure that everything lines up, that you've got it the right way, and then start applying your glue. So Surya said, what glue am I using? So I'm currently using the Jewel Bond. It is the one in the pen. I use Jewel Bond for pretty much anything. So Jewel Bond is more of like a jewelry fabric type of glue, but I use it for pretty much everything, and it has a very nice hold. You can also use something like a Tombow, which also has a very nice hold. So another tip is to have all of your cardstock the same way. So if you have a textured cardstock, you'll see that one side is textured and one side is not. So when you cut it, try to cut them all the same way, and that's going to help you when it comes time to making it, because you're going to look at which side of your cardstock is textured, and then you know that they are the right side. Okay. So one of the things that I've noticed about working with cardstock or 3D cardstock crafts is that glue is very important. Yes, you might, get it right with a cheaper glue or a more runny glue, but it's going to be a lot easier and a lot more fun if you have a really good glue. So I do think glue is super important. And I think I paid 35 Rand for this, so it's actually not a very expensive glue. I think I did. I could be wrong. But yeah, it wasn't expensive. It's not a huge amount. So if you look at it, this is the normal jewel bond, and then that's obviously the pen. So it's not a huge amount, but it is very convenient. Okay, so we have them on alternating flaps. And we're now going to move on to the little folders. So we're going to fold that in, fold that in. Do we fold that? We do fold that. I just had to double check. Okay, so that's going to fold in, that's going to fold in, like so. And then that's going to fold across, and we're going to glue that. Okay, so very important with this one. So it does kind of bulk out in the front, if that makes sense. Okay, so we just want to make sure that it is on the edge. So corner to corner, it's nice and flush on the edge. You see, like so. Like so. And you can see what I mean about it kind of bulking out in the front. So you can just fold it down like so. Okay. And then we have these little pieces here. And this is going to glue onto the front flap. Just like that. So when you're gluing it on, just make sure that you don't glue over your score line. So you can see I kind of did there. Just make sure you don't glue over your score line. You can fold it down like so. How cute is that? Super cute. Now these are going to go onto these flaps. So what I would suggest, so these are the white pieces. Remember I told you the white pieces where you're going to do your little notes. Those slot in there. And this part I did kind of battle with because I had already stuck it. So this needs to sort of come out. And then you kind of have to bend that, which I didn't love. So you've got to get that out. There we are. And it slots like that so that it can close. So I think that was probably the hardest part for me because I really didn't love sort of bending the top part. And those are going to go right there. Super cute. And we're going to do that for all three now. Or two more. So another question that has popped up in my space this week was what cardstock or what GSM, is it GSM cardstock do I recommend? So most of them, I think it's 220, I think, or 240. I'm not sure, but American Crafts, so AC cardstock, the Cricut cardstock, and your Couture Creations are all great. You also get one called Fabiano. That one's also really good. So I wouldn't suggest trying this with sort of cheaper cardstocks. You do want to use a good quality cardstock. It's going to give you nice clean cuts. You're going to have a sturdy design. And you're just going to be a lot happier with your end result. So there we are. Fold this down. And then we're going to put our little cake embellishment on. So another thing, and I didn't even show you this, I actually kept them aside. So this is for all of the scrapbookers. what I love about these designs is that you can actually keep your little offcuts and use them for scrapbooking. So like here I've kept all of the yellow cutouts from our bunting there, and that can totally be reused either if you do scrapbooking or on other projects, and there are such clean cuts. Love it. So there's a little sidebar tip. There we are. So Soraya said she heard that this box is big enough for a box of Lindt chocolates. So the other one that I did, I actually put Lindt chocolates into it for my daughter's teacher. So that's the one that I posted on the group today. So if you haven't seen it, you can go and have a look. That one was super fun. It had a cake in the middle. So it was the opposite. It wasn't a cake with a box inside. It was a box with a cake inside. I had a lot of fun making it, and that one fits 6 Lindt chocolate balls into it, which is the exact amount as a little box of Lindt. So I don't know how many this fits, to be honest. Yeah, I haven't tested this one yet. I didn't gift this one. This one was kept purely for the class. So if you want to gift something, I think this is a super cute way. And I've also seen people put money inside of this. You could even put jewelry, if it's obviously somebody that you love enough to give them jewelry. You could put jewelry. And if you were here at the beginning of the video, if you weren't, you can always watch back. You would have seen that there are explosion boxes for pretty much everything. There's graduation, there's pizza. Just saying, if anybody wants to gift me an explosion box, a pizza one with pizza vouchers would be amazing. Just saying, because food is life. Okay. Going to see, make sure that's folding down. Yeah, it's not stuck. So just also, yeah, make sure that you stick it properly, because you can see as I'm folding, it's pushing it down and it's kind of ruining it. So make sure that it is stuck properly. Okay. Oops, that's a lot of glue. And don't use too much glue, because it lands up smushing out of your little cutout designs. It lands up making your cardstock soggy. It's not cool. Okay, so there you have your explosion box. So what you can even do, fill each of these little things with money, make it exciting, fun. So there is the base of your explosion box, which is the bottom of your cake. Nice and simple. Okay, next we're going to do our middle box. So this one, you will see we have 2 longer ones and we have 4 smaller ones. So your longer ones will have score lines, which I can't see. Oh no. So your score lines should be somewhere here. I cannot see them. There's one. I found it, I think. Yes, I did. I found it. So just a little tip, it is difficult to see score lines in glitter, if that wasn't obvious. Okay, So we're going to glue this across the top of the lid. So this is our longer piece. We folded it on either corner, and that's going to go across the center of the box lid, like so. Okay, and then we're going to do the next one, which I also cannot see the score lines. And we're just going to hope for the best. I think that might be it. So my glitter is falling off everywhere. I think that is it. There's one. So I found if I look at it sideways, I can see it. I think that's it. And this is also a way you can do it. You can just kind of size it and then see, and that was my score line. And then this is going to go across the center in the opposite direction. Hi Susie. Sorry, we had to rush today because we are fighting against ESCOM. So to make sure that my sides were in the correct place, what I did was I put the lid of the box on, like so. So you can do it a couple ways. You can put a little bit of glue in the center, which is what I'm going to do. You can draw on it. When you work on a bigger one, it becomes easier, and you can then slide these under. So these are the little pieces, and these are going to go onto the side of your box. So like so. Make sure it's nice and straight. So you obviously just want to make sure that it does not go over the top of your box. Okay. You can see I'm getting glitter everywhere. I love it. My favorite thing ever. And then that goes on like so. I'm just going to make sure we can, oopsie. We got to actually get it on here. There we are. So there is our little gift box, and that's going to go into the center like so. Okay. So let me just see if I'm centered. I think I am. Okay, we can take the lid off so that you can press it down nicely. All the extra glitter, oopsie. Okay. So there it is so far, super cute. Now for this part, we're going to be doing our balloons. We're going to take these 3 pieces of twine, and we're going to turn this upside down. We're going to thread one through each of them, each little hole, like so, so that they meet in the middle. And then it says you can use tape or glue. I want it to be safe, so I use both, because why not? So we're just going to glue those in the middle. I'm going to put some extra glue. Oopsie. And then we're going to take some tape that's now stuck at the bottom. So Susie, this is Jewel Bond. It's just in a different container. So, well, it's the pen style. So you get the normal Jewel Bond, and then you get the one that's in the pen style. I found the pen style easier to work with. So if you've watched my lives, you're probably wondering what happened to the other glue that I used to use, the little bottle, and I actually broke it. So that's why I am now using my Jewel Bond one. Okay, so now we have our little strings, so you can't see it hanging, but there's our little strings. And what we're going to do now is we're going to stick our balloons onto that. So it's going to be 2 balloons of each color per side, and we're going to do them alternating. So for instance, this side will do pink, yellow, blue. This side will be doing yellow, blue, pink. And then this side will do blue, pink, yellow. Like so. Okay, so what you're going to do here is you're going to start at the bottom. You're going to put glue on this side. So you should be able to get it at a range of different places. I got mine from Craft Buddies. I don't have a P&A that's very close to me, but if you do, then that is a great place to get it. Or any craft store in your area should actually carry it. Okay, so we are doubling up, and then we're going to stick, so this one was supposed to be blue, pink, yellow. Okay, so it's balloon, the little piece is going to go at the bottom. That broke my brain a little, because I was like, wow, would a balloon hang that way? But it's fine, we move. Okay, just make sure obviously that it lines up. And you might need a bit more glue. Oopsie, it's not lining up. There. Okay, nice and simple. So I must admit, it's not a quick craft that you're going to do in 5 minutes, but it is totally worth it, and it is actually so simple. I think it's just because there's a lot of different elements that it feels overwhelming, but it's really such a simple thing to make. So for anybody else that was wondering about the Jewel Bond, Soraya said Jewel Bond is a dollar product. You can usually get it at a store that sells dollar paints and craft supplies like P&A. She bought her last one at a hardware store. So that's very interesting. I didn't know. I don't think I've ever looked at a hardware store for it. So very interesting. But yes, that probably is some important information. It's called Dollar Jewel Bond. And Dollar is quite well known in South Africa. I am watching the time and I'm just hoping that ESCOM does not beat us tonight, but we're almost there. Okay, we're just gonna spin that, and then we're gonna do our last ones. So that was blue in the middle, this one's blue on top, that one is, there we are. So we, in our area, what happens is every time there is a power outage, they change our grid. So I may or may not have load shedding at 8. I'm only going to know once it happens. So I'm just trying to be cautious. Hopefully we have escaped it. I feel like it would have been better if my load shedding was before class, because I promise you I've had such anxiety. Yeah, we've had it before where my power did not play nice and it's not fun. So I feel like I'd be happier if it was before. Okay, so that's all done. We're going to put that aside so that it can dry, and I'm just going to every so often give it a press. And then the last thing we're going to do is put together our little bow. So for our bow, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my scissors, because this is a glitter cardstock and it's very thick. I'm going to use my scissors to kind of what do you call that, curl it like you would a piece of ribbon. I've put my little 2 dots over there and over there, and we're going to fold that in and we're going to hold it down. So if you're glue gun friendly, this would be great with a glue gun. If you're not, then yeah, then just do what I'm doing. Okay, I should have brought a peg. I have a peg. Let's see if we can use it. So pegs are great when you are crafting. It can hold your stuff together like so that it can dry. Okay, so this is the middle section. I'm doing the same thing. I'm just curling it. Again, this is a glitter cardstock. If you're curling paper, I would use something like my tweezers and not don't do what I'm doing with scissors. Okay, so I'm going to put glue in the center. And I'm going to stick that center down in the middle, obviously. Oopsie, in the middle. And then I'm going to fold these little edges inwards, and then I'm going to do the same for the other side. So I'm applying glue and then I'm folding it inwards like so, and then we're just going to stick that back on there for a minute. Oopsie, oopsie, we're coming apart. So we're going to stick that back on there. Okay, now for this, oopsie, we're sticking ourselves. So just obviously make sure all of our balloons are stuck in or stuck together. Here we are. And then this, so I wish I could show it to you. It's so difficult to show you, but they hang down. It's really cool. So this is going to go into the bottom of our cake. So I just threw our thing out. So we're going to stick that in there. so that when you open your lid, I don't know how to show you. I'll try to show you on the front thing. But so when you open your lid, they kind of hang down, and it's super cute. Okay, we have 5 minutes. Let's hope we can do this. We should be able to. Okay, so for this one, we're going to stick, so these are our little ends of our bows. We're just going to stick it in there. Oops, that's a lot of glue. Okay. So we're literally just sticking it like so. Obviously make sure that it's nice and straight. And then you're same for your other side. Oopsie, let's do one at a time, because we do need to kind of hold it down a bit. You can also just use your paintbrush so that you can press in there. So Deirdre has an extension that's running from her old car with one charger, and she's hotspotting from the Apple device so that she can watch the class. Dee, I absolutely love you. I absolutely love you. So we're just waiting for this to dry. Yes, so the glitter cardstock does take a little bit longer to dry because it's not the same as a normal cardstock where it's going to grip instantly. So I should have thought about that. We do have 3 minutes though, so let's hope it dries before then. We've got some grip going. I should have used a glue gun. That's okay though. And I used a lot of glue, so that's not helping. So that's also why I say don't use too much glue. It's because it does make your drying time a lot longer. And it floods your paper. So this is going to go once it's dry. I'm just really scared that we're not going to make it here. So once that's dry, that's just going to stick right there like so. So I'm actually going to stick a blob there, and you'll see why in a minute. And I'm going to stick a blob there, and then we're going to stick a blob in the middle. Like so. Yay! Okay, so while this is drying, I'm actually just going to start saying my goodbyes because we have 2 minutes and I obviously don't want to just disappear without saying goodbye. I have loved making this with you. So there is your lid with your little hangy piece, and this is obviously your box. So this is all going to fold up like so, and that's going to go into it like so. I think for me this is the trickiest part, is getting all of the flaps into it. There we are. How cute is that? Okay, so I'm just gonna switch to there. Hi everybody. So I just want to show you, our bow might fall off because the glue is probably not dry yet, but here is our super cute, so let me show you on this one. There we are. Here is our super cute explosion box with our little hangy pieces. And there it is there. So our bow is not dry yet. We'll give it some time, and I will definitely upload a picture tomorrow. And when we take that off, we have another little explosion thing there. So what I will do is just be a little bit patient and wait for my glue to dry. What I would suggest is, if you're going to do what I did and use glitter cardstock, then just use a glue gun. Super simple, and it dries very quickly. So thank you all for joining me. I really enjoyed this, even with the anxiety of load shedding coming, and I will see you again next